Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another daily creative challenge. Today, for challenge number 6. It's a beautiful morning here in San Francisco. How is everyone? I see a lot of people are joining every day. Floyd from Atlanta. I want to know where is everyone right now and what time is it? Here it's 9 a.m. Hello, Sam. How's it going? Balair, Sean, Carla from Brazil, Lawrence from Belgium. How is everyone going? Ken, Layel. Hello everyone. Really cool. It's really exciting to see a lot of people from everywhere. It's really nice. 1 p.m. in Brazil, nice. New Orleans, Port Angeles, from France, nice. Cool. Argentina, cool. Let's start with the basic stuff, which is how you can engage in this daily creative challenge. So for everyone who doesn't know what this is, the daily creative challenge is basically a challenge where you can engage, you can commit, you can learn, you can watch the live stream and basically do every day a different challenge and then upload it to this platform where you can basically engage and interact with different people. The way it works is you just go to behance.net/challenge/Photoshop, and then you just press here, take the challenge, and you're going to be able to log in and so on. If you go to the bottom, you can also press here, subscribe, and you can subscribe to you're gonna start receiving emails from, and you're gonna be basically letting you know when a new challenge is gonna happen and when you can join or whatever. And this is a really cool way for people to start learning Photoshop or any kind of challenge. Another cool thing that I suggest everyone to do is just join the community chat. You just press either here, or you go to the bottom and you press join us. And this is gonna take you to this platform called Discord, where basically it's a really cool platform where people. So every day you complete a challenge and you just upload it here by pressing the plus on the bottom, and you can just upload any image that you want. It's really cool. A lot of people post, which is really exciting. People asking questions, people interacting with each other. You can talk to mentors, you can ask guests, you can talk to each other. So if you go here on the left to current challenge, you can see the current challenge that is happening, and you can scroll and you can see from challenge 1 until the last one, which is going to be on Friday. If you go to past challenge, you can scroll and see what was going on before, and so on. And this is really cool. And for example, if you want to you can also take previous challenges, so in that way it's really cool. You can also ask questions, tips and tricks, and career advice. And so I really recommend for everyone to just join and enjoy and be happy there. So let's go to our challenge for today. Today we're gonna cover the basics of text. So text is really important in terms of what you want to add to your design, and there's a lot of things you have to think about when you're working with text. Which is, for example, if you're working with brands, what kind of colors do they usually use? What kind of fonts you have to think about? So there's a lot of things you have to be aware of. So let's start practicing a little bit of using fonts. The first thing. So basically a layer, fonts is like any other layer. However, it's vector based, which means you can just start manipulating, you can just start playing with the size, and it's not gonna lose quality. Whereas a picture with pixels can just, if you start resizing and make it really big, it's gonna start losing quality. So the first thing for you to start using it, if you go to the left and you press here the T, you're gonna start playing with the layer tool. If you hold it, you're gonna see there's different options. The most common one is the horizontal type. which is basically you're gonna write from left to right. And then the vertical tool. The other two ones I've never used them, to be honest. But it's like the first one. I think it's probably the one you're gonna use the most. So let's start with that. So the main thing is as soon as you press the layer type, the horizontal type tool, you're gonna click on your canvas, and you're gonna see this letter here. You can just quickly erase them, and you can just start writing any words that you want. And then you press OK here. And basically this is just, and if you press move your cursor again, you're gonna be able to move it, and you're gonna be able to align this according to your rulers and your guides. If you wanna start changing what is if you wanna change what is this written in there, you can just basically press the letter T. You can double click to select it all. And here you can basically change everything on the type, either on the top of your menu here or on the right. So let's see, for example, you can change colors, right? You can just, let's say I want to change it to blue. You press OK, and you just change it to blue. So, start playing and think about what is it that you want to, for example, we created a mood board before using colors. So if you want to start using those colors, think about the colors that you want to use. Something really different you're gonna do as well. So I changed it here. You can also change it on the right. You can also start playing with things like, for example, the size. You can just change the size. You can change it either going to this T here and drag it to the right or left, or just by pressing, for example, any number, 55, and you're gonna be able to change. You're also gonna be able to change the space between each of the characters. So for example, if I go here and I click and drag, you can just start separating all the letters according to your design. And you can even make them really, 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 really like tight. Something else is if you go here, or I mean, either works the same. You can start changing the font, and this is super cool because basically you can just scroll here, and you can take a look at all the kind of fonts you have in Photoshop, which is, there are a lot of them. Depends on the mood that you want to use. You can use, more serious one, more of a, I mean, it all depends on what you're trying to create. I usually try to use fonts more like kind of like a serious way. I think my theme is always a little bit dark. So it all depends to you. I suggest you go through a lot of them. The cool thing is that you can easily visualize all of them here. Something else you can do is, if you are members or you subscribe to the cloud, you can just click here, add fonts from the type kit. And this is gonna take you to the Adobe Fonts, which is, you can search for a lot of fonts as well. You can select from sans serif and serif. Like, for example, you can see the difference here. It's they have these little things or like decorative things at the edges. You can make it more serious. You can choose from script, which just looks like kind of like handwritten, black letter, mono, hand, decorative. So there is a lot of things you can search for. There are really cool ones here. I'm just gonna quickly type something, one that I found yesterday, which I think it was pretty cool. It's called Paralucent. You select it, and then here you're gonna be able to see the whole family. You're gonna be able to see all the variety from that font, and you can just click here, active font, and it's gonna set font. It's gonna set font activation successful. Okay, and then it's just gonna be it's gonna be on your cloud, so you're gonna be able to use that font in all of your designs in all the apps that you have. And that's pretty cool because you just have access to a lot of different kinds of fonts here. So cool. So let's start doing some editing. Usually when I try to think of text as something that can be as part of the image. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna grab this image and I'm gonna start manipulating it, so it's gonna basically try to include a little bit of the elements of the font. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to change the canvas size, and I'm going to change it to pixels, and to I have my notes here, and this one, and I'm gonna select from this side. So basically what I'm doing is I'm gonna I'm making the canvas bigger so I can just play with it a little bit. I'm gonna put my image into the corner. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller as well. Here, okay, cool. And then what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna duplicate that layer. Oh wait, before I'm just gonna grab my rectangle tool. I'm gonna choose a color. You can just, I wanna choose a color that's like kind of bluish. And I'm gonna basically create a rectangle on the back. Oops, sorry. So make sure you have the fill selected, no stroke. I'm just gonna create a rectangle on the back. Cool. I'm gonna drag it and put it on the back. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this layer. I'm gonna press Command T so I can start changing the size. I'm gonna make it bigger. Then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna flip this horizontal. I'm gonna press Enter. I'm gonna create a mask. In the mask, basically I just created a inverted mask, which basically is just hiding my layer. So if I play with the intensity, I can see where it is. So I can basically place it wherever I want. And right now I'm just gonna grab my brush tool. If you press B, you can grab your brush tool. Make sure it's on white so you can start painting. I'm gonna turn the opacity. And basically what I'm doing right now is just painting on top of this, so I can just make my image bigger. So I can just start including all the elements there as well. Cool. And I want to create this effect here that it's kind of like the snow is coming out of the canvas and just hiding there. If I go here, I can just start erasing this. And then cool. So for example, yeah, let's say I like this. So this is just ways of start playing with the image and just start including them with what you're gonna start editing. I always like to edit like this, so I think it's a really cool way to think about images. So now let's start adding some text. I'm just gonna grab first and use the vertical tool, and I'm gonna write here daily. I'm gonna choose a white font, and I'm gonna choose Daily Creative Challenge. I'm gonna select it all. I think you can also select it by Command A. Yeah. So if you already modify if you already created your type, you can just press the letter T, so you can have access to it. And if you just want to select the all the words, you can just press Command A or Control A, I guess, on Windows, and you can just select everything. So here, I'm just gonna start changing the size of this. Cool. Until it fits. Let's probably make it a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna grab the tool again. I'm gonna click on horizontal, and I'm gonna write, let's say, San Francisco, California. You can also, once you're already finished typing, you can just press Command T and you can make it bigger. And you can also rotate it like this. So right now we're just gonna rotate this image. If you press, you can also rotate it, but by changing the commands on the top. So let's say I press -90 and it's just gonna turn like this completely. Press Enter, and then I just start playing with this. And you can also start combining things. For example, I'm gonna grab the type tool again. I'm gonna start writing something like, for example, my project, it's a project that I've been working on for many years. It's called Impossible Stories. So I'm just gonna write impossible. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Select it all, make it bigger, press enter. Oops, no, sorry. Oops. Okay, impossible. You press here on the check, so it's gonna stay there. You're gonna. Now I'm gonna Command T, make it a little bit bigger. Then I'm gonna turn it again like this. Possible. And you can use your guide here to just basically place all the elements aligned. And now I'm gonna grab the tool again. This time I'm just gonna write it vertical. Stories. Just gonna place it here. So you see here, there's like different ways you can start thinking about your design. You can make it, you know, horizontal, vertical. I usually also try to add different like design layers on top of this. For example, I'm just gonna add this little I'm gonna add a line. I'm gonna make sure it doesn't have a fill. Stroke white. And you can change here the size of this, and you also can change either if it's a continuous line or is a like it's interrupted or even smaller. I'm just gonna go for the direct the continuous line. I'm gonna press shift. I'm gonna be able to start writing or creating these lines here, which, you know, start adding some little things to your design, which I think it's gonna start adding to your composition, right? If you press Command J to your shape, you can just start making all these little adjustments that it just actually is gonna make your design start looking better. So it's a lot of start playing, a lot of testing around. Something else you can do, it's for example, let's just grab again our tool. Let's grab the horizontal type tool. Let's write here, I don't know, snow. Cool. Just see what else I have here. Just grab the tool, make it a little bit bigger. Cool. We're gonna rasterize this object. We're gonna duplicate it. Let me just put it here. Duplicate it. We're gonna press Command T so we can start manipulating. We're gonna flip it vertical. And then I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. And then we're just gonna drag it right underneath. And then what I'm gonna do is press right click, perspective. And here you're gonna be able to start changing the perspective of that word here. Let's say I like it like this. You press enter. And then here, what I suggest is you can start changing the opacity here so it looks like a little bit like a shadow or like a reflection. And then you can, for example, you can start playing again with layers. So for example, if you add another layer mask, you grab your brush, make it smaller. Here you can change the opacity. And then you can start erasing. Make sure here is on black. You can do that by pressing this arrow here or just pressing X, and you can start erasing all this and make it look like, for example, it's fading on the snow. And then you see you have this really cool effect. Then you can also start manipulating your images alone. So let's say let's create a new one like this. Create, cool. And then let's grab our tool. Let's make it black, and let's just write impossible. Make all of this smaller. Here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new layer here, and then with that layer selected, I'm gonna press Command and I'm gonna click on the T. So it's just gonna make a selection on the type layer. And then I'm gonna go to my marquee tool, this one here on the left, press. I'm gonna go here, press right, press stroke. And here you're gonna have options of, you're gonna start playing with different, the width, the color, the bending. Let's just do a 3 pixels, press OK. And now what it's gonna do, I'm gonna deselect by pressing Command D. You make that the text layer not visible. And then you can see here how you only have the outlines of what we wrote. And it's really cool because you're gonna start doing things like, for example, you can just grab your polygon lasso tool and you can create a shape like this. You can go all the way, even here. And with this tool, you have to make sure you close the whole path. And once you already have your selection, you can just press delete. I'm gonna deselect. And you can start creating this kind of really cool effects on top of your images and on top of your fonts and letters. So if I go Command D, you can even grab the normal lasso tool and just start making little adjustments on each of them. You just press delete again, and you can start making this really cool kind of looking like effects depending on what you're actually doing here. You just do your selection and then you just click delete. This is really cool. You can start playing with this a lot. Something else that I'm gonna show you is, I'm just gonna go back. Yeah, okay, cool. Here, I'm gonna create a new layer here on the right. And what I'm gonna do here is, I'm going to grab the polygon lasso tool and I'm gonna start making, let's say I'm gonna start sort of like creating my own font. So what I'm gonna do is, let's say I'm gonna start drawing on top of all these things, but look how I'm creating on my new layer, on the new layer I just created. So right now here, and then you have to close them, right? And then once you already did this, you press right click, stroke, and you can do the same thing we just did like a few minutes ago, and you can choose the stroke. I suggest you play with it. I'm gonna choose 3 again, and you press OK. And then here you're gonna be able to start making your own kind of font, which is super cool because then you can just start adding your level of design into it. Again, fill stroke, deselect, and now you see you're able to start making your own compositions, and you can start mixing them. For example, let's say I grab this one and I grab the gradient to the paint buckle tool, and you can just, depending on which you have selected, let's just choose the layer number 2, you can just start painting on top of it here as well. And if you go to your layer number 1, you can start painting on this. So this is just really cool ways you can start. I mean, there's like infinite of things you can do with typography. These are just a few of them for you to just start thinking on how you can start doing. What if I grab this and I can just start, hiding them behind the mountains here, changing colors, changing, there is a lot of things you can start doing. I hope I could sum up some of like cool features you can basically start with typography. I can't wait to. I'm just excited to see what you're all gonna start creating, and see you all tomorrow. We have a really cool things coming up. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.